The penalties in Australia are up to 25 years in prison and $20 million fine. We will see people going to jail. Signatures on piece of paper, they don't mean anything. Where is your proof that you have trained the person on these documents? If you're going to do that manually, you're going to go out of business.
Luke, how you going?
I'm good, Krish. Thanks for having me here, mate.
Now, pleasure having you. And I've known you for a while now, and I have seen your system multiply me. But for everyone who's watching this one, what are you trying to do with multiply me?
Good question, Krish.
Sorry, starting with a heavy one.
No. And it's probably not even what we're trying to do anymore. We've really brought a concept out of the ground past the early stages, and now we're scaling. But what we set out to do was based on my experience in the construction industry and seeing that the safety systems that we have are not working, and we're all aware of it. If we got on ChatGPT now and asked it how much money has been spent on the safety in construction and then looked at the results to see if that's making an impact, there's almost no impact. And in some areas, it's still getting away from us. There's still more accidents. So it seems to be now that there's a massive safety industry out there. But from when I was working in construction, scaffolding, I've employed up to 350 staff. So I've seen how to handle people and how to, I guess, get the good out of people. That the systems that we're all trying to, push through with mountains of paper, and they're just causing friction and no one's using them.
Right.
And at the end of the day, we feel like that we've got a safety system in place that might tick a few boxes for regulators, but when something really nasty goes wrong in your business, most of the things don't hold up.
Oh,
so
wow.
we're with Multiply Me, we have transferred a lot of the reading, a lot of the unread reading.
Unread reading.
Yeah, well, that's right. We're very good at producing big manuals on how to do things, but on the coalface, who's reading that? So we've flipped all that. Now with AI, we can turn a document into an AI presented video, within seconds. And the quality is amazing. And I'm a tradie, so I don't like to read. If someone's going to deliver me a video like on YouTube, I'm going to watch it and absorb a lot more than I would if someone hands me a manual. So we've really just adapted what I would call a broken system, and a lot of people in the safety industry and construction do say it's broken. You're in construction
Yes.
as well. So if you go on LinkedIn and look at WHS officers, 90% of them are talking about how broken this is. Like, how can we fix this? Like, everyone wants a fix, but we're still pushing paper around. So me, probably not knowing enough when I started, I was like, well, I like watching YouTube and I know all the tradies do, so let's try something different. And then the last few years has been really interesting with AI coming around, and it's just taken the effort out of making videos now. And that's been able to leapfrog us through a lot of those traditional costs that may have been involved in creating videos. And things are done lightning fast now. So that's what we're doing, making it easier.
That's brilliant. So just to say, you said unread reading into videos. That's the line I got. All right, I'm sure we'll go more into it as I ask more questions. So on continuing to that, you went through a serious accident in your previous business. Did you ever think something like that would happen?
Definitely not. And I think all business owners, a little bit of head in the sand and knowing, that doesn't happen to me. We all have that mentality in life. If you smoke, you say it won't happen to you. But the reality is that you'll be handpicked for whatever's coming your way. And you see some people, again, I'll use the smoking analogy, they can smoke all their life and nothing happens, and someone smokes for 2 years and they end up with something. So there is no, do all the safety right, nothing will happen, or do no safety and something will happen. It doesn't work like that. You just raise the opportunity for something to happen if you're a cowboy. And then if it does happen, and then you're in the hands of regulators and courts, well then you're absolutely stuffed. You've got nothing. Yeah. It's a very tricky situation to be there, and I guess I learned that through my own experience. There was a man electrocuted in my scaffold company. So a residential scaffold company. I was the director, sole director. We sent a team out to put up a scaffold, and that was put up. A roofer then jumped on the scaffold, had a metal roof batten in his hand, and he slid it out into the street kind of across the scaffold to get to the end of the roof batten, and he touched a power line, a high voltage power line. So he wasn't killed.
Okay.
But as a business owner, when something happens, your heart sinks straight away. You're like, okay, well, for me, the first thing was I'm responsible here, and now what's going to happen? Is he okay? Concern goes that way. But then almost immediately, it's like, well, then what happens to me?
Correct.
And that's the elephant in the room that I think most business owners are living with, whether they acknowledge it or not. There is an element of fear. It's like, if one of my guys gets hurt or something happens on a job that I have some sort of responsibility for, how do I stand? Mm-hmm. And then most people sort of throw that out and go, well, just keep on going. But things are changing massively with the amount of regulations and the severity of what happens. So we're getting a lot of people coming in at the moment saying, Luke, we love our business, we're going to keep going, but we just need to make sure we can sleep at night. And if there's a system out there that does that, it's Multiply Me.
Oh, fantastic. And then you also said this very interesting. What you said is this year, more good mums and dads will go into jail.
Pretty heavy.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Thanks for asking. This is I've been saying this for a couple of years now, going through what I went through, an experience that now I've turned into something to help others. So it was never a victim thing for me. It was like, well, it's heavy obviously as you go through it, but if I can do something to help others, that's what I'm looking at. And what I see, business owners don't know the risk that they're in. Their risk profile is massive. I mean, you would see it with their numbers. Yes. They're leaking money everywhere.
Correct.
And they could do so much better. And when I see the risk profile of businesses, there's a handful of things you can check. If they're in check, the risk profile is okay, something big happens, they're probably going to be okay. But there's a handful of things that are so simple to do and they're regularly not done.
Right.
And there's a new thing called industrial manslaughter. Not new, actually, industrial manslaughter. A lot of people think it's new.
Yeah.
Industrial manslaughter sounds really heavy.
Yeah. Did you say industrial manslaughter?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So this is essentially, you start a roofing business, you hire 2-3 guys, one of them jumps up on the roof, slips off, hits his head and dies. It happens every day in Australia.
Really?
Yep. Now, you as the business who opened the roofing company, you were vibrant, you're getting jobs, you're putting roof on, you're getting your money in, your money out.
Yeah.
But maybe you didn't have the right piece of paperwork in place, and maybe the person who fell off the roof didn't acknowledge the paper or have proof of training behind that piece of paper. You then don't meet what's called your duty to consult. Now, that's what you're measured on once you go into the hands of the courts or regulators.
Right.
Krish started a business, he onboarded this person, but there's no onboarding documents, poor training, or maybe you did a lot of training verbally, but it's not documented. So that verbal stuff doesn't matter. It's just what have you got on paper that can keep you safe. And if you don't have that in line, you haven't met your duty to consult, and then you could go to jail. The penalties in Australia are up to 25 years in prison and $20 million fine.
Even though it's not it's not your fault, you're not there. Like, it is your fault, but not like a fault, and you still go to jail for 25 years.
So what you just said then is it's not your fault. So this is really interesting. Courts love someone to blame. Someone needs to be accountable. And in that case, you're the business owner. You take out the ABN, you're responsible for the work, you're responsible for everyone in your business. If you employ someone, you're responsible for their life. You're responsible whether they trip over. You're responsible for whether they have a mental health condition. You have a responsibility to keep them physically, mentally and emotionally stable while they're in your workforce. And if you don't meet that responsibility, you are then measured on whether you've done a good job or a bad job, and then your penalty will come from that.
Wow, never thought of that. I never thought of that.
And this is where I feel like there is a reality of running a business that nobody knows. Nobody talks about it. And again, maybe it's a bit because we don't want to. It's too scary. If we thought about that, we'd probably all sell our businesses. But we're not going to do that. Businesses feed the family, they supply jobs, cars, holidays, all the things. So the business is really healthy for the family unit.
Yeah, but that's what you said. Like, people don't think about it, and you are right. Like, if you're not careful enough or compliant enough, I guess, if
I can elaborate a little bit there.
Yeah.
What I mean by more good mums and dads will go to jail this year is because in New South Wales, the Industrial Manslaughter Bill was passed in December 24. Most industrial manslaughter cases, where again, I'm just talking about someone falling off a ladder. Yeah. So this is not someone, purposely killing someone. It's an everyday accident, a forklift accident or something like that, where someone's been hurt bad enough that they've passed away. Now, it takes around 2 years for an investigation to go through. Okay. So December 24 means December 26 we'll start to see some very heavy penalties come out. Now, Safe Work New South Wales have put a lot of money into their new workforce, more inspectors, making sure that the laws that they're bringing in are going to be absolutely firm. And I'm watching what they're doing. There's more inspections on businesses that haven't had accidents now. That's the first time we've ever seen that. Generally, an inspection or an investigation happens after an accident, but now we're seeing regulators, enough of them on the ground to get into businesses before there's ever been a squeak of anything going wrong.
Okay.
But the reason we'll start seeing more people with jail sentences this year is because those ones that are in court now, and I actually know a few of them personally.
Right, okay.
Because they've come to me and said, Luke, we've heard your system is one of the best. So they're coming to us now for the solution that they didn't have when they had the accident, because they're also pushed to improve to a point that when they continue the business that they don't have those gaps anymore. But yeah, I'm really sad because at the end of this year, we will see people going to jail.
Wow.
And they're good people like me and you who just didn't know the rules.
Yeah, just everyday Australians trying to do the right thing. Like, they want to genuinely want to do the right thing because they're not compliant.
Yeah.
Following to that one, I hear that your customers keep saying that Multiply Me is not just improving the compliance, it's actually changing behavior. What's happening there, Luke?
Yeah, this has been actually almost a surprise for us. Everything was theoretical when we started Multiply Me. But essentially, I don't believe in increasing safety, like more harnesses, more hard hats, more signs, more red tape. We're fed up with it, and tradies don't like it anyway. So I'm of the nature to, let's address why somebody might be showing up late. Why don't they care about the rules? Why don't they want to wear their hard hat? Let's say, for example, we've got a tradie, jumps up in the morning, has a Monster Energy drink for breakfast, smashes a pie at Smoko, which is pretty standard. I've done it as well. Yeah. But that, I guess, behaviour, you're not feeding your brain, you're not feeding your body, and you're going out there doing a really tough job. So that will then go into, I'm not thinking clearly, I don't like my job, and a whole lot of other things. And then that, I don't know whether you've heard, but there's a lot of press around that the construction industry is tough. Yeah. There's a lot of suicide. Yeah. And when I look at construction, all I see is a job that I loved. Yeah. I loved getting up early. I packed my lunch most of the time, but, we'd grab a pie and, have an energy drink from time to time, but it wasn't what I did every day. So I think that there's poor habits growing into just employees in general. And then when you go and do a high pressure job and you're working 6 meters off the ground on a scaffold and your energy drinks are wearing off, does that increase the likelihood of falling off? Yeah. And now there's studies that have absolutely proven that people that are drinking a lot of energy drinks are not taking care of their health, where there's increased accidents. Oh. So if a company is looking at reducing accidents, it's not about bringing in another safety officer. It's not about writing another policy, because that's not working. Yeah. And no one can afford it anyway. So what I'm really looking at doing with Multiply Me is creating videos, much like you see on Facebook or YouTube. Yeah. We're all good at scrolling, right? Oh yeah, got that bit of content. Oh yeah, nice shoes, all that sort of stuff. Multiply Me is an internal social media feed that just feeds all the good habits and gems and little stories that might make someone just go, I'm curious about that. We're still talking about 70-year-old truck drivers using this as well, that we're opening their eyelids a little bit on maybe mental health, but it's not done through the traditional face-to-face toolbox talk, where for years we've been very good at company has a few issues through the week, and a few good things as well. They pull the group together and they tell the good things, or maybe they do the bad things first, and then they say the good things. Yeah. But what I've seen is that those meetings don't have the impact that the videos do. Right. And that's wild. But when you look at social media, how much influence is driven through social media? Yes. Like we're all buying stuff, wearing stuff, saying stuff because of what we've seen on a video. I was like, well, can we feed the right stuff through videos into a construction business with 10 staff and see what happens? And for me, just all the data said it would work. But there was one thing that made me feel like, oh, this could be risky. Because video training in the construction industry has been tried over the history of the last 20 years, they've tried when you enter construction, you do what's called a white card course. It's just a general induction to say, don't be an idiot on site. It's boring as batshit because it's very, very basic. But there's sometimes an hour video that you watch. Right. And I honestly fell asleep. Yes. I was done. I was like, this is I can't watch video training. Yes. So the early video training in the construction building industry, I think it just tainted what people thought of it. Right. So we broke down, well, why is social media working? It's short, sharp videos that get to the point. They're funny, they make you laugh, or they make you cry, or they make you think about something. Yeah. So we just put all of that into our videos, and we schedule them on an internal social media feed. And because they're watched and signed off in work time, it's essentially a toolbox talk. Yeah. Instead of having everyone come together in a group meeting, which can be costly, or someone's away, or the person presenting isn't in a mood to present. Yeah. Staff of a business could receive a handful of short, sharp videos that really get you thinking and get you on the right track. Wherever they are in the business, watch these short videos, and then it effectively runs a company-wide toolbox talk.
Oh, it's brilliant. That's really brilliant.
The impact, now we're getting, every business comes back and says, Luke, wow, these videos are not what we expected. And I love that bit because I'm like, good, they found the goodies. Yes. And then it's kind of, well, it used to be kind of 3 or 6 months that we'd see a behavior change. But now we're seeing almost immediately, companies are saying, hey, Luke, our staff are quoting the videos like a good movie. Excellent. They're like coming back into the office saying, oh, I've seen that in a video, you wouldn't do it like that. Or, think about that differently because I've seen something in the video. So this is fantastic. Yes. So we essentially copy what social media is doing and brought it into the workforce. Our staff are quoting the videos like a good movie. Excellent. They're like coming back into the office saying, oh, I've seen that in a video, you wouldn't do it like that. Or, think about that differently because I've seen something in the video. So this is fantastic. Yes. So we essentially copy what social media is doing and brought it into the workforce.
I think what you did is fantastic. I mean, what I like there is compliance is boring. Either you read a document for 1 hour or watch something for 1 hour. That's boring. But what you blended that into the social media, the sweet, sharp, quick, something that makes you think. Blending these together is amazing. You're taking a very traditional and a very compliance requirement item and made it into a fun video. That's brilliant. And the behavior is quick. It's not 3 to 6 months because they're watching it, they're quoting it. That's amazing. And let's talk about this toolbox. So what's the biggest myth about the SWMS and toolbox talks?
Yeah, probably I can say it in one line. Yeah. Signatures on piece of paper mean shit now.
Means nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And businesses have been putting paper in front of people. I mean, let's say we have a toolbox talk, which is essentially a staff meeting. You grab everyone together. I say a few things and I say, okay, everyone sign off on the piece of paper here. You heard what I said and now you'll act accordingly, or, I can prove as a business that I've told you the right thing. Now, there was a case just recently came out. There was a transport company in Queensland. They had I think a truck driver sexually harassed someone else. Oh, okay. It was proven in the company that, yes, that happened, so they stood him down and dismissed him. Right. which I think is fair. Most people would do that.
Yeah.
This gentleman went to Fair Work Australia and asked for his job back. He got his job back.
Oh.
Because the company introduced a code of conduct policy, which had the sexual harassment in it. They had a toolbox talk. They actually had the policy. They got everyone together. I think it was at a 20-minute toolbox talk with 23 staff. So they had everyone there. They talked about it, got everyone to sign off. Now, that's a pretty standard behaviour to introduce something. I'm pretty happy with that. He got his job back because he argued that how am I supposed to understand what I signed 2 years ago? And also, there was no refreshing. So it was easily forgotten.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sitting there reading that thinking, how does a business introduce a policy, get everyone to sign it, and then we have to come back next week and do it again?
Interesting. Yeah.
So this gentleman got his job back, and now the real crime I see is the person who's been sexually harassed, she's now in the same building from what I understand on the report that I see. But I guess what I'm getting at there and what I can see is that signatures on piece of paper, whether it's on your SWMS or on your toolbox talks, they don't mean anything. And that's the world we're living in right now. So again, the videos have now played a engagement because we can engage with the staff, but we're also getting a very strong compliance piece on the back end to say, Krish delivered this video. It was on ladder safety or sexual harassment, a policy. It was an AI presented video, which we call Video Docs. It's one of our new products, which is AI presenter reads through the sexual harassment policy. You could deliver that to your staff at onboarding, and then every 6 months. And it doesn't take your time. It doesn't take any trainers, any admin, anything. It's just every 6 months, the staff will watch back through the videos. Now, I don't 100% agree we should be doing all of that, but if that's what the courts are ruling, we have no choice. As a business, we have to be putting the stuff in place and then making sure it's refreshed easily. If you're going to do that manually, you're going to go out of business.
Yes, and is it the same video or you'd modify the video in there?
For stuff that has regulations to it, the video may have been updated in that 6 months.
Right. That's good.
But if it's like a video that has no need for change, it could just be repurposing the same video. Because if that gentleman can ask that, maybe I read it 2 years ago, didn't understand it. English wasn't his first language as well, so that was another barrier, which the videos can overcome with AI. You can flick a button and you can listen to it in any English, in any language. So we're closing down a lot of the gaps.
So that's a very interesting story, because when you described the story, I said, yep, everything's looking good. Like, how can he get the job back? But he signed it, he read it, he signed it. The claim was it was 2 years ago and he forgot.
I believe so.
Oh, wow. And the videos, of course, the videos you can watch any number of times, keep playing. And is there a little button or something where it says, okay, I've watched it?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
So it's there in your program.
Yeah, Multiplay Me's been reverse engineered from that accident to say, okay, well, what do we need to display in the very worst case? And then we brought it all back to something that's super simple for staff to go through.
Watch it and tick it as well. It shows that they have watched it this time, this day.
Yeah. And look, when people hear me talk about that, they're like, just protecting the business. But what's really, really cool about this is that training the staff to actually what's in the documents is what keeps them safe.
Correct.
Because the documents have been written for a purpose.
Yes.
The problem in the industry at the moment and previous is that the documents have been written, and yes, maybe they describe what needs to happen, but no one's reading them.
Correct.
So we're just signing, going, yes, sweet, go across and get hit by the forklift.
Yes. And it's something like terms and conditions that we look on the internet. Like, how often do we read them? There's like 14 pages of terms and conditions. You just say, okay, I accept.
Never.
But that guy would be using your video, audio for whatever. In the same sense, you look at a document and say, like, okay, I signed because I need the job. But what I like about it is the reason why you started doing it. It's not for the more compliance. It's making sure that guys do understand when they're doing these high-risk jobs, that someone actually showing them, saying that this is what you're meant to do, the right thing to do. And they do understand. And that's why, rightly said, it's changing the behavior. Another thing also is when a serious incident happens, what do regulators actually look for? If you can go a bit detail into it.
Yeah, easy. And this is probably the big question that everyone goes, you know what, if there's an accident, we'll be fine, or we'll work it out. But if you know these things, you're going to be in a 10 times better position. So speaking from experience, after an accident, if it's serious and it's reported, you'll have regulators in your office the next morning. It's lightning fast.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. The previous example you said December 24 and December 26, say 2 years.
Yeah.
What's that 2 years and what is this next day in your office?
So if you have an accident, I've seen regulators the next day, I believe, in my office. They seize your paperwork, and that's going to be things like registers of attendance, any training records, any onboarding, like role, what were they supposed to be doing? Were they actually supposed to be on that scaffold, or were they only supposed to be on the ground? Like, they want to know what their role was, how were they onboarded, and was it clear that what they were supposed to be doing on that day? Now, that's all done through, a lot of it's paperwork, a lot of it's electronic documents. And everybody knows, courts, regulators and business owners knows that no one read it. So we're just pushing it all around, putting the signatures in place. Now, what happens is the regulators will look for the information. Is it in place? Cool, got that in place. Most people have something. Then, is it legitimate? Is it up to date? Is it really poor? Or is it just been fabricated from, someone else's templates and there's someone else's name still on it? Okay, let's say you're doing both of those well. You got it, it's in good shape. Then this is the part that nobody knows. Where is your proof that you have trained the person on these documents?
Okay.
And when I tell people this, like, what do you mean training of documents? So a SWMS document stands for Safe Work Method Statement.
Okay.
So if we've got a safe work method statement on how to get up on the roof and put the roof on, that's essentially a training document. But it's in written form and it's really clunky and it's written by WHS people who've never put the roof on.
Yes.
So this piece of information might all look good. It's there, it's written nicely, the signature's on it, but then it doesn't actually function. The staff have never actually read it. And if they did, they're like, well, this doesn't make any sense. So they just go on their merry way to do what they would normally do to get it done.
They still sign it and they go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, that leads into another thing. If you're not going to sign it as an employee, lose your job, can't pay the bills. So there's a lot of peer pressure to say,
sign it.
I need to get paid.
Yeah.
We all know it's happening, and there's a lot of, we've got a lot more speech and a lot more talk in the industry now where people are saying, I don't agree with this. I'm not signing it.
Yeah.
But then, what's going to happen? There's probably going to be a managed out and you lose your job. So we're aware of it, but I think there's still a lot of, hey, just sign and get on with it.
Right. And the regulators come and they look for...
Yeah. But the evidence of training of the documents, or even just, let's say you're putting up a ladder. If I'm the business owner and you're the staff member, have I ever shown you how to put the ladder up safely? And if there's no training on that, the business is liable because they haven't talked about ladder selection, they haven't talked about how to put it up, they haven't talked about anything. It's just been left to the person's ability to put a ladder up and fall off.
Is it common to expect people with certificate 4 in, say, carpentry or scaffolding to know how to know the basic stuff, or is the employer expected to show every bit what goes on site?
Yeah, I get this question all the time. Yeah. Business owners say to me, Luke, where does it stop? They've done their apprenticeship, they're an experienced tradie. Why am I liable to teach them how to climb up a ladder? It's not that you need to teach them how to climb up the ladder. You need to remind them and keep them safe while they're on your site. So if that means giving them a ladder, toolbox talk one day where you take a photo of everyone standing around the ladder and, you're presenting, well, maybe that's what it takes these days to actually prove that you're talking about ladder safety.
Wow. And the regulators look for that?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Yeah. Actually, I have a real story here. Yeah. One is muddy boots, right? Muddy boots, someone got up a ladder, slipped off the rung because they had a lot of mud on their boots and fell off and got hurt. Now, is that common sense to clean your boots first and get up? Or if you're in a rush, you've got a lot of mud stuck on your boots, you're up and down a ladder all day, you're going to clean them every time, or you're just going to climb up? Now, he fell off and it became the company's problem because they're not talking, he's working in the mud, which a lot of safety documents say stop work when it's slippery, which is a whole nother kettle of fish. Yeah. That's just ridiculous. But Yeah, look, the business is liable, in my eyes, the business is liable for anything that happens.
On your side.
Now, yeah, anything. Now, the beauty of the videos and the way we set it up is that we have hundreds and hundreds of topics. We don't have one on tying up shoelaces. I haven't gone there. But we do have one on effective footwear, awareness of where your feet are, dressing, appropriately for what you're doing. So we do have a lot of these videos, but they're not mundane, like someone's going to go, oh, of course I know how to tell my shit. They're made funny. So people are going to watch them and they're going to get the laugh, but it's going to make them remember, when I do get on the ladder, I'll click the mud off. Our system then allows companies to address hundreds of topics in a way that it just gives them little gems every day without having the business owner or supervisor having to talk about it.
Wow. Yes, it does. So previously, if there's no videos, then practically there's a team of people, trainers, need to keep on doing this training for sets and sets of people, tens and tens and tens of people, and that's their full-time job.
Yeah. That's right. And if they're not doing that refreshing, well, that's when it opens up gaps for
the regulators.
For regulators or the lawyer to dig in and say, well, I'm going to find a gap here. Where was your training in the last 6 months? And look, the last 5 years have been tough. Like you've seen it. You've been doing the books of people. The last 5 years has been tough. So it's only natural that things have spread out. The meetings are not as regular. The training maybe not be as good because people are trying to keep the wheels on. And that's where we come in as well. It's like, well, you don't need a trainer that's going to run around to all your sites every day. You can do that by video. And it's actually, it can be more effective. Summarising what regulators are going to look for. Have you got the information in place? Is it legitimate? Is it any good? And then where is the proof that you have trained your staff on this at onboarding when they joined your company? And where's your ongoing reminding of this?
Right.
And if you get those 4 things in place, you're looking reasonably well. There is some others on top of that, but that, it's a very deep rabbit hole. But just some basics, I would say to anyone to get those 4 things in place and you're looking okay. Now, you asked before about the 2-year gap. What happens there? So you have an accident, they come in, grab all that. For some reason, it takes 2 years to go through it. And most people don't really get any answers from the courts or regulators on what's going to happen for 2 years. So they're kind of sitting in limbo. That 2 years of not knowing whether you go to jail or whatever, can you imagine that?
I know. Can you come out clean or you go to jail? And you win contracts, you have bills to pay, you have people to feed. Humans love certainty. We seem to live, if we've got certainty about our money coming next week and our holiday in 3 months, we're happy. Imagine running your business with not knowing if you're going to have another accident and compound the problem, not knowing where your own fate lies, not knowing if you're going to be there for your kids. If they're 3, are you going to be there at their 6th birthday? Wow. So they come in, they turn up to your office next day, but they don't give you the answer for 2 years. And that's where, but going back to the one where I really like your system is that, when someone starts, you have a paperwork and everything, but it's the ongoing training. That's where it solves a lot of problem with your Multiply Me videos, because the videos are there, keep watching, you update once, and then any number of people, a new person joins, they can watch it, people go, so that's good, you don't have to you reconduct the whole thing and spend your time, I think. And that's compliant from the regulator side of things. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and what's actually really fascinating, so we're working with a lawyer here on the Gold Coast. He said, Luke, the videos are actually better because for him to take, so let's say a lawyer has a serious incident to defend, the person's been hurt, had verbal training and signatures on paper, and they've said, we sat him down and we read through it all. Did he or didn't he? Did he understand it? Did they rush it?
Yeah.
Where's the evidence? So when it comes to defence, a video that clearly says he's in the video, on our system all the videos are interactive. So if a person's watching a video, they can tap the screen and ask a question in real time. And it'll just ping to the admin or whoever's managing the account, and they'll go, oh, Krish has got a question on ladder safety. He wants to know what the ratio of linear ladder up is. Okay, cool. So I can just answer that and text straight back to him. So it's live consulting within our platform which allows you to bring on, let's say you need 10 staff next week. You could send out all the onboarding. They could be asking questions from their bedrooms.
One person would be answering
absolutely. Yep.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Look, that was brilliant. I learned so many things, honestly. But if a construction company owner is watching this video, what is the immediate step they need to do after watching this video?
Look, everything starts with a conversation for me. It's always probably similar to you, Krish, in your business. It's like, well, let's just work out where the goalposts are. Are you looking good, or is there some drastic things that need to change? Usually if someone's reaching out, they may have an instinct that something needs to change. So a conversation, we just look at those checkpoints and go, okay, are these things in place? Commonly people say they're in place, but again, they're in place but still not even going to protect the company. So we just validate whether those are in place and they're working, or they're in place and they're false protection. Right. And then from there, look, our implementation of our system is lightning fast, can be up and running in 3 weeks.
Oh, right.
With it could go a lot faster, but we allow the team, the company, to actually take some time between each step, because they're running a business as well. So we can't just come in and take 3 hours and get it all done. But usually we go a rollout over 3 weeks, and then the system is engaged, the team are on board, they've been briefed, because change management is actually what we're finding the most critical part of all this.
Yeah.
Every company has now been guilty of bringing in a software and doing it badly, and the staff go, well, we're not using this, who cares, no one's checking. So when we're selected, we come in, and that's why we take the 3 weeks, because it's like leaking gems to the staff, something's coming, okay, we're having a meeting next week, and a little bit of we've got prep videos to teach them what's coming and how to use it and what it's going to do. So the rollout is more about letting people have time to adjust. But once it hits the ground, we have a very big psychosocial mental health compliant part to the software.
Okay.
We've partnered with some really great people around Australia, and when staff see the system being rolled out, they don't see it as a safety compliance, shitty system. They see it as, this is something that is actually here to improve all of us. And we're getting 100% compliance from people in the first week, second week, because they're like, we learned what it was, we learned how to use it, we had a talk with Luke or the business owners or whoever, and now it's here, and then bang, first day everyone's doing the videos. And then always good thumbs up and 5-star ratings on the videos. So
Fantastic.
I think we cracked it, mate.
I honestly can see the value that every construction owner or construction company who is involved in that, especially because it's safety is a big thing, they really need to check out your Multiply Me and maybe reach out to you, even like a consultation, one-on-one consultation. I think this video will really open up their eyes. It certainly has, all this. I never thought of them. And the guys who are there, as you rightly said, we all want to do the right thing. Be good people, fair income people, do the right thing, and you're helping them to do the right thing by changing the behavior as well. Now, it's been fantastic talking to you, Luke. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Krish.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cheers.